Do you want to utilize technology and promote literacy? My name is Gina, and I will be presenting on just that, commenting on different scenarios, observations, and tech tools. This is not an easy skill to obtain, and in a new world of technology, we can fall behind. This is why it is so important to stay up to date and, most importantly, learn through trial and error. From what I have discovered, it takes a few times to get used to new resources. I will first be discussing technology integration for lesson instruction. There are tons of resources that can lead in instruction, such as Pear Deck or even Poplet, but I will be discussing Nearpod. Nearpod is a presentation tool that allows students to follow along and interact with new lessons. This type of learning helps students learn and follow along by providing tools in close proximity. What this means is that students can follow along with the presentation on their own individual device. ESL students can be better guided with a list of vocabulary words and/or keywords to take note of during the presentation. This tool relates to other classes I have been in by promoting student involvement during lectures. The best improvement a teacher can include is to provide a physical outline where students can take notes. Pros that I noticed were that it was a handheld individual presentation. The teacher managed the student's device. I was even able to lock their devices to manage disruptions. I promoted student involvement by including multiple choice, fill in the blank, and even short answer questions throughout the lecture. And I could control what students saw through the projector use. This also leads straight into cons, because when I did not want students to see what was on my screen, especially answers, I had to remember to freeze the screen. Also, I did not receive student response data from multiple choice and fill in the blank questions. I did see their short answer, however, did not receive any multiple choice data. I also felt that the lecture was a bit more teacher-paced than usual, and that there was a lack of student note-taking. Because they were on their iPads, they did not have a device to be recording notes. The final con was not an issue for me, as that my students are one-to-one with iPads. However, Nearpod would require some kind of device for students to be on. Aside from lesson instruction, there will be times when you want to include technology for project-based learning. Projects in my district are a huge component for assessing students. In fact, projects are actually included in our yearly evaluations. I chose to utilize Screencast-O-Matic, which is ironically how I'm presenting right now. The main things I noticed is that students are one-to-one with iPads and therefore needed access to the computer lab. Because they're so used to using Google Slides, they definitely found it much easier to utilize PowerPoint for this type of project. They found themselves taking more time to complete the presentation because they wanted to perfect their speech. They also needed a lot of guidance on using audio, enunciating their words and speaking loudly into the microphone. Finally, students read blocks of text. As you can notice in the examples, the words on each slides is definitely a little bit more hefty than I'm used to. Normally, the students are able to just put different types of outlines and speak off of that. Definitely a good presentation skill, but in these types of examples, you can see that there's a lot more text than we would be used to. For this project, they were supposed to define an aspect of literature, which in this case was exploration, say how it affects literature, and include examples. Again, in this definition, we could see how hefty the definition is. What I noticed is that students get nervous. They were definitely impressed with this new presentation method, but ESL students would definitely need modifications. For example, you could provide an outline for them to be reading off of, or just forego the Screencast-O-Matic and have them present in person to you. It could definitely be a bit more intimidating when their literacy skills and speaking skills are not quite as good as their classmates to just present blindly like this. The third component of this presentation includes observation. I'm a big believer in using other teachers to learn, and one benefit of being a paraprofessional this year is that I'm constantly exposed to tons of new resources. One tool that I've been utilizing quite a bit throughout the year and observed through this assignment is MobyMax. MobyMax is something used for special education intervention. Students are required to reach 30 minutes each week, which isn't too bad. They do monthly progress assessments straight through this program. They also receive bi-monthly task assessments. So the teacher will pull questions that they've worked on and create a test. And it's also easy data for the teacher to pull without putting in too much work. The pros is that it's specific data for each student. It's paced and it assesses their struggles. So if they need to go back and relearn something, they can do that. The cons is that there's definitely time inaccuracies, especially in math. If a student is taking too much time to solve a problem, the timer will stop and count their minutes as unfocused minutes. The teacher is able to see their focused time and unfocused time. And unfocused time means that they were not clicking or interacting with the iPad, which can sometimes skew their data. There's also a lack of motivation to complete these minutes because a program like this is geared towards younger age grades. Finally, I will discuss a new tech tool that you can utilize to promote good reading, and that is Newsela. Newsela is an instructional content platform that promotes reading, engagement, and learning across all content areas. The pros are that it promotes reading. Students are able to choose their own articles, or a teacher can assign articles. It's a leveled reader, as that the student can go through different Lexile levels. It also includes student choice, and it collects data. The cons is that the pro account is expensive and ranges from about $18 a student or $6,000 school-wide. Because schools usually forego the pro accounts, there's limited customization options. We're going to look at a video that describes Newsela pretty well in 50 seconds. So as noted, Newsela is a website that utilizes nonfiction sources. Students are able to search for articles, or you can assign articles. If you go into My Binder or My Class, which is Title Italian 1, I assign just a random article for an example. I could see the student's views, average time in the article, the average quiz score, the average writing score, total annotations, and then the average article level. As I noted, you can change the Lexile level. So if you click an article like this, you can see that there's different levels. It'll also show you the activities that students can complete while reading this. The con is that you will not receive a student score. So if you want to receive that data, a good idea is to do this type of activity in class so that you can receive their answers and see how their literacy went. As noted for the pro accounts, this is an example of what you would see. Different grade levels, different students, how they're progressing. And then this is a comparison between Newsela and Newsela Pro. I definitely wouldn't see myself going for the Newsela Pro account just because there's so many good features already in the free account. But the best thing definitely is that you're able to customize so much more with the pro accounts, change the questions, allow students to annotate more. You're able to highlight the vocab that you think that students should learn. You also have access to this quiz scores. Students and teachers can reply to one another's annotations. Definitely a lot more customization there. But overall, it's still a great tool to promote literacy, great reading skills across all content areas.